Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Yes,
You have a fun topic for us today.
I do. I just thought it would be fun to get a little lighter. So I've been, we record this the week before it comes out, and I'm doing weekly themes on LinkedIn
Mm,
this year
okay.
in an attempt to keep me
Wrangle?
accountable and just
Yeah.
have like some kind of structure because it
Any
can
kind of
feel
structure. Yep.
really, really overwhelming to have to come up with. I do 4 posts a week.
Okay.
It's a lot. So
Yeah.
I'm doing themes. That's my idea. We are mid-January, still working. But the theme, what is now last week, has been contracts, just talking about
Right.
influencer contracts. And
Yeah.
as I've been writing these and thinking about it, I was just thinking through all the times when influencers kind of shit the bed,
Mm,
and stuff doesn't, just the stuff that a contract can't protect you against. And so I thought it would be fun if we spent our time today on the podcast just kind of fondly reminiscing over all of the times that influencers have screwed us over, done something unbelievable, really
right.
messed up, and we could probably dedicate multiple podcasts in the future to times clients have done
Ooh.
that.
Ooh.
But I just thought it would be
Yeah.
fun today, just since it's top of mind, to share
Yeah.
influencer horror stories
Yes.
for a bit.
Do you have a leading, like your North Star story that you train new people in your agency around, or you reminisce with your agent? Like, remember that time when blah, blah,
I
blah?
mean, you and I have both been doing this for so long because I think we have so many. One that comes to mind. So before we had our whole network of influencers, we have like 55,000 in our network. But when we launched the agency, and for a number of years, um, we had influencers who we represented exclusively. So we had a roster. It started with a roster of 25 bloggers, and it grew. I think at its height we had about 60 influencers who we
It was like the
represented.
early days of talent management. Like
Kind
that
of, yeah.
wasn't
I
a
mean,
super
that was
thing
the
yet.
yeah. That was the initial business. I mean, I say business plan with air quotes because I did not write a business plan, but that was like the initial business plan of Sway Group, was that we would have this list of influencers who we represented exclusively. They would bring us all the brand deals that they were getting approached with. We would negotiate them and then take a percentage of that fee.
Okay.
So, yeah, talent
Yeah.
management ended up being a terrible fit for what we do, which I could go into. But when we were still doing that, we started with mom bloggers, and then we expanded into crafting and DIY space. And then we just kind of expanded a little bit. I don't know. We were entertaining discussions with several different types of influencers. There was, and I will say, I think it was probably 98% women, the influencers who we represent. I mean, obviously we started with moms, those are women. And then the crafting DIY space was very female focused. I think it still is, but very much so. Then, so we had a few dad bloggers in the mix, but we were really mostly dealing with women. I don't know, it feels relevant to me, but so we were approached by a male, kind of like, he's still around today. I'm trying to think how to describe him other than social media douchebag, which is the
Oh, that's
adjective that comes
done. You
to
did it.
mind. So just like someone who talks about like social media space and business and tech, like that kind of vibe,
Content.
very
Okay.
well known.
Mm,
Um, I think he maybe is, I'm pretty sure he's an author of books. It's just what you're an author of. Um, so he approached us and asked if we would represent him. One of the reasons we stopped doing that exclusive representation is that means that all of the work for those influencers runs through you. And if you talk to any talent manager today, that's a ton of pressure.
mm,
And, you end up being, I mean, this is, I'm saying it a little bit dramatically, but you're basically responsible for putting food on their
Yeah.
table. And
Yes.
it's a lot. And ultimately, we prefer to have a responsibility to the client and make sure that they're shining and that they're bringing back repeat business. It was just a misalignment for us. But for this guy, as an influencer, he wanted to make as much money as possible. He approached us. I was kind of hesitant from the beginning, saying, like, I'm not sure this is a great fit, but we can negotiate stuff for you. We like entered into this tentative arrangement, again, him pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
um and I assigned an account manager to kind of be like his person. And when things started not going well and he felt like he wasn't getting enough work, which again, I remind you, I was pretty clear about from the
Setting
beginning,
expectations. Yeah.
he got so nasty. He got
Ugh.
so nasty. And this person who he was like his point person is someone I had known for years and years, like just the most darling, sweetest person ever. Ray of sunshine, ray of
Really?
sunshine. And he was
Okay.
so nasty to her. And like, I think he even like called her names. He was like swearing. He got on the phone with her,
Oh,
told
got
her
abusive.
off, got verbally abusive. We fired him. So I sent him an email. I mean, I wasn't even going to get him on the phone, and I just said, this is unacceptable. Like, we do not accept it for you to be talking to our staff in this way. Like, cross the line, we are done. And then
Yeah.
he sent me like such a nasty gram
Oh,
back. And this guy is like relatively well respected in the space. And every time I see his name, I cringe and I think, oh my God, that guy is just a dick. And people don't know. It's
yeah.
like when you go to a restaurant with someone and they treat the server
Oh,
poorly.
right, right.
Yeah.
And you see it for what it is. And he's got this public facing persona. Like, what are the chances that he's seen the error of his ways and now treats everybody well?
My
Probably
guess
not
with
good.
this guy is that he doesn't even remember it happened. I think this was a blip
Right, right.
for him.
You
It
know,
just stuck me because she was really upset by it, and she
yeah.
is just such a sweet person.
I mean, not that this was the topic of the conversation, but it's for sure that a bad client is so much more expensive than a good client, whether it's on the creator influencer representation side or a brand side. And I was going to ask it's not really a horror story, but it relates to this. We were running a campaign for Arrow Garden, which is like the
I have
indoor.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can grow the
I
little herbs in your house.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic and interesting. And I think you can do tomato plants. I think you can do some other more robust things than just herbs. And they had a new model coming out, and it was one of our bigger, um, in terms of number of influencers we had involved in it, programs. And some of the units didn't function the way they needed to. So we were doing that triage of, okay, let's send this person a new one. And one of the influencers we had, who, again, I knew from food blogger days, and I had seen her. She's very outspoken on, at this point, well, still Facebook,
Okay.
and older. So, what I mean by that is a little bit like get off my lawn, a little
Yeah.
bit,
Like
I
this, I
know
have my way.
I have my way. I know what's best. And I knew that about her going into this, but she was still an interesting fit for the campaign. And yet, when she ran into trouble with her unit not working, she was just really saucy. Like, really, she accepted a replacement. And then that one apparently didn't work. And she sent me personally an email that was like, well, Casey, this is 2 times and I'm out and you owe me the money for this campaign and I'm done. And so I don't know that she ever went live with content. I don't like, we just paid her
Yeah.
because, and it was so, I was like, oh, I knew who she was. I knew, and again, it wasn't a horror story. Like, she wasn't horrible to work with, but she also wasn't our target audience of, I'm so excited about this new product and growing herbs in my kitchen during the Colorado winters,
Yeah.
or whatever. So that sticks out to me as kind of like you're saying, like I saw the writing on the wall, and I'm a fan of universal energy and law of attraction. I think she attracted two malfunctioning units because
Yeah,
she's
totally.
just like an angry,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
resentful person. And it was just bound to happen that she would get the crap out of the whole, 50 influencers that were part of this. I think,
Right.
there were maybe two people that had problems and she was one of them
Mine
repeatedly.
works perfectly, I will say.
Yeah, right. And the vast majority of them did, but thank you for that. But it was, yeah, so it was interesting. Like, okay, I saw this going in. I knew this was going to be an issue, and it was an issue.
It was an issue.
Yeah.
We have I was just remembering another story. So this is back in the days of sponsored blog posts.
Yeah.
So all the content we were doing was blog
Rip.
posts, and yeah. So we attract, I think, because we had so many moms in our network, and this is just nature of the beast. We got a lot of cleaning product programs.
Sure. Yep.
And so we had this, like I said, we started with this roster of 25 mom bloggers. So we were using people over and over again for different types of campaigns, certainly not within any kind of window where exclusivity would be an issue. So we had this one mom blogger who we worked with, very popular site, kind of a not a pain in the ass like you and I were just talking about, but just kind of precious.
Yes.
And
That's a great
not our
word.
favorite to work with.
Mhm.
But her content always performed super well. So we did one cleaning product program with her, went fine. It's a year later, we get another cleaning product program. People use all types of cleaning products. It's not like dog food like we were talking about last week, or
Yeah.
a
And we
cell
even made a
phone where
case for dog food and where it
we
could
did. So
be.
we felt it was appropriate to use her for this other campaign. We hired her to do a blog post. This was so long ago that this was in the days before we were checking we now check content very carefully before it goes
Yes.
live. Our
Sure.
clients see it before it goes live. We check it after it goes live. This is so long ago that we would hire them, brief them, they would create it. We would check to make sure everything was kosher, pay them. So this second blog post for a totally different brand goes up. She had done a find and replace. She had taken the blog post from the year previous, put it in Word or whatever, did a find replace, literally just switched out the brand name and posted the exact same blog post up with the new cleaning product.
No.
Inserted in it with the anecdotes and the stories about her kids.
Wow.
And
That's
so
ballsy.
our team member who was working with her recognized it, was like, I've read this before.
Like literally, you're the same agency. I can almost see getting away with that if it's two different agencies or two different brands.
That's why, like, ballsy. And then she got pissy when we reached out to her. Like, talk about entitled. Like, she was kind of pissy with us when we were like, yeah, you can't do this. We hired you for an original post.
I guess the best defense is a good offense, right?
Yeah.
Like, just how dare you, like, coming after you guys.
Yeah.
Wow. So how did that result? She got pissy with you. Did she ever make any changes?
Oh, we made her do a whole new post.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then, okay, so and then blacklist, right? Not to say that word, but like, or maybe that wasn't enough to
no,
put it
because
over there.
that's, when you have a larger network and when people are not exclusive to you, it's a lot easier to put people on the do not use list, I think.
Yeah.
In this case, we were a lot more cautious with her and changed the way that we were briefing her on programs, but it wasn't, again, add this to the list of reasons why I did not like representing people exclusively. It did not feel like a reason to break our contract with her.
Okay.
But
you were still representing her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Gotcha. Yes. So that's a totally different ballgame than, hey, we have our choice of influencers, bloggers. We're going to let this one.
Yeah. I will say, I think she was kind of got moved down to the bottom of the list of suggested
Priorities.
influencers on
Yeah.
programs after that, because
Yeah.
it's, you know.
Which is okay. That right there, that energetic hit is so entangled with professionalism. I think influencers, like we're running a program right now, and it's, of course, one of those situations where product is new. So it's a launch. And so finding the product in the store that they're supposed to is proving to be tricky. And that could go so many ways with an influencer.
Yeah.
Like one of them reached out and was like, I can't do it. Like she's signed, she's contracted, and I can't do it. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you mean you can't do it? We can solve for this. Like we can
Yeah,
ship a product, or
we've had influencers who get annoyed like that, which I get it. Like it's a pain in the ass to go from store to store. We've had influencers who go above and beyond to the point where I feel bad, like this is not what we're paying them for. We're not paying them to drive to 5 different Walmarts within a 50-mile radius.
and to reset the shelves so that the product looks better. Like,
Yeah.
like they really, there are some people out there that are really so
Yeah,
dedicated.
we should do an episode on overly dedicated
Yeah.
influencers.
Well, and I was going to say, I know this is about like our challenges, but and the woman I'm speaking about was lovely. So she didn't, it's just my heart and my team's, our reaction is like, oh my God, like the rug is being pulled out, but
Yeah.
we all solved it and she was amenable to the solutions. But then there have been other people in the program who are communicating so nicely every step of the way and solving problems before they, like this same thing might have happened to them and they're like, but I can find it here, here, and here. Like they're very small touches, and I wish there was a way to like trumpet that to them, like you've been so easy to work with, please keep. So let me flavor this with, I don't want to call anybody out too specifically, but let's say this has happened in the past where we have a contract and we're communicating very carefully in the sharing of the contract and in the scoping before, like even what the campaign is going to look like. We've had somebody sign the contract, sign the master services agreement, sign off on other things like acknowledging that they've read it, they're in, and then their next email is, can I clarify a couple of points? And it's things like, what is the compensation? What is the timeline? Are you expecting blah, blah? And again, that makes all of us collectively hold our breath because we're like, she just signed a contract to do all of this. And it clearly specified we weren't paying for product. We're not paying for this, that, the other. Like it was all laid out. So if you're now coming back to us and I'm like, are these going to be deal breakers even though she signed the contract?
That happens all the time when we, because we often recruit in network. And so we have this application process on our site. And when influencers apply for our campaigns, they check off like, I understand the compensation is
Yes.
X. I understand
Yes.
this. And we have them like literally check, like not even a long legalese contract. Like
Right.
this is just to apply. They are checking off that they understand and that by applying, they agree to.
Yes.
And so often they come back and we let them know that they've been selected, and then they try to ask for more money, or they suddenly bring in a manager who says, oh, sorry, that actually wasn't their rate. Or,
Oh, yeah, not my problem. Your
yeah,
lack of planning. What I would say in the instance where it's not that kind of Shanghai, like where it's like I'm wanting more money, and it's an influencer who has signed a contract and is just needs, their process includes clarifying everything. I advise them all, if they're listening, to add in a note, hey, I am a go for this, but I've got so much going on. I want to make sure I have this all in one place and not off here in a contract or not in a Google Drive. So here's what I'm asking for, because again, it makes us spin out like, is this the beginning of the wheels falling off the wagon when this person is asking for the compensation rate when they've already agreed to the compensation rate? Oh, and PS, I know that, and these aren't horror stories of people we've worked with, but we're we're still seeing the funny, like we'll reach out and say, here is the compensation range maybe for this campaign. We recently had somebody get back to us and say, oh, I would so love to work with you on this. I'm going to loop in my manager and hopefully we can make it work. And immediately I was like, she knows we're not going to be able to make it work, because what then happened is it was over 12 times the rate that we had put out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, she was maybe bigger than we needed for baseline too. So she might have been 12 times bigger. Don't waste my time. And they sent a media kit over with the rate. So I had to do all the formulations and like, oh, this is going to end up being 12 times our rate. Just say, hey, this isn't in the ballpark. Thanks for thinking of us.
And
That's
I get
a misstep by the manager.
I want to be clear that we're not saying to not use managers, and that like we've had that conversation. Not all managers are bad, but I think it's tricky when you reach out and you first have that relationship with the influencer. That's an awkward transition. I get it that they have to pull in the manager, and there are people who do it poorly, like you're talking about. We're working on a campaign now where we reach out to this athlete who we're using on a program like a like a what do they call it? Like extreme sports type athlete.
Oh, okay.
What's that called? Like what are those games called? Like export, like X Games type athlete.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Not even relevant to this. Anyway, so we reach out to him to work with him on a program, and he of course had to bring in his manager. I get it. But then he reached out to our team separately, and he said, just so you know, I love this product. I really want to make this work. Please know you have this direct connection with me. If there are any hiccups at all, like I am very passionate about this, and I am here to say that we are going to make this work somehow. Like he just kind of reinforced that relationship and connection. And, I think just because you have a manager doesn't mean you're like the onus of having relationships and being a good person. Like you don't get to delegate all of that.
Right. If nothing else, at the baseline, it needs oversight. That manager relationship needs oversight by the creator influencer. And we didn't really add this into the mix, but I think there is a case to be made for the horror stories we've had on the talent manager side. But to your point, I'm not trying to paint with a broad brush, just like we're not trying to paint that broad brush with working with influencers and creators. We love doing that.
Yeah.
What I would say is talent managers often, I think, put the dollar sign in front of anything else. And it's a very short-term view. Whereas in this case, with the complete canyon of difference between what we were able to pay and who we were looking for and their client, that's already going to be off the table. Like the money is not going to happen. So I would have advised that talent manager or the influencer to focus on the relationship.
Right.
How can they be a strategic asset for me, for my team, even if the project isn't going to be a go, by saying, I want to save you and your team's time on this. This isn't worth chasing. This isn't worth any of us having any more emails about this. There were too many. There were like 4 emails back and forth, plus a media kit. That was where the path diverged from the talent management being of value to both sides of the equation versus you might not be my favorite person to work with because you don't really recognize what good business relationships look like.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. Good stuff.
This was fun. I now have like 10 more horror stories in my brain, but we don't need to put all that negativity into the world.
Right. We're little bite-sized chunks of
negativity.
Like I said, if we can monetize angst, man, we will be millionaires, billionaires.
True story. True story.
That was fun.
Okay. We'll see you next week.
See you then.